All right, here we are for round number one. Fortunately, I was having some technical difficulties, so we lost about 5 minutes, but we should be okay. I'm on the play, and we've got some removal. We've got a curse. Looks pretty good. I'm going to keep this. So, got a tough decision here about whether or not I want to play, to decide if I want to play my Forgotten Cave or not. Oops. So, sorry, I think I might have messed up the audio a bit, but hopefully it's working now. So, I was having some audio issues. I decided to play the Forgotten Cave even though I have some lands already. It looks like we're playing against Elves, and hopefully this Electrickery comes in handy this time. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this curse right away. I really want to get the clock on right now, and hopefully this Electrickery will catch me up. I've got some other targeted removal as well, so we'll see how that all works out for me. So this should be a pretty decent matchup for us. I have a lot of sweepers and things like that. Tons of removal. I've got an early clock. They've got a Timberwatch Elf, which is, of course, one of the most important cards in the deck. So let's just kill that guy and play our Bloodfell Caves and pass the turn. So next turn I can play the Electrickery and Chainer's Edict, which could be pretty important. It's looking like it is probably going to be fairly important for us to do. Hopefully they can't play like a 2/2, because I'd really like to Chainer's Edict away this guy. Yeah, so if that's all they can, well, okay, so they've got one more mana at least. Actually, 2 more mana. Okay, so this is not bad at all. Let's go ahead and cast the Electrickery. This is pretty brutal for my opponent here. If this works. If this doesn't work, we're going to be in big trouble. Gonna play this now, because I'd really like to use the Chainer's Edict to get this off the board, and I don't want them to get to play like a Nettle Sentinel or something to eat up my Edict. Also, I think if they had anything else that would die to this Electrickery, there's a decent chance they would have played it already. On this turn, they had 2 mana available and they didn't use it. If they have something like a Magnify, that could be a big problem for us. They can also cast like a Vines of the Vastwood to save some of, like save one of these things. That would also be potentially pretty annoying. I'm probably going to pick up the Forgotten Cave here next turn when I play my Rakdos Carnarium. It is a bit of a tricky call since I want to get to these Chainer's Edict flashbacks at some point. Got a message. My opponent apparently played in the challenge today. It is Sunday after the challenge. Ooh, Wirewood Pride, okay. Opponent wants to save the Birchlar Rangers. Still going to go ahead and Edict away one of these creatures. Yeah, so my opponent looks like my opponent had some pretty good matchups though. They played against Stompy, and that's a pretty good matchup for this deck. For the Elves deck. All right, let's get these. Don't want these to keep popping out at me. Another Chainer's Edict. All right, so got 16 more turns with our current clock. Well-Wisher. Unfortunately, I do have to kill that stupid Well-Wisher, even though it's not that important of a creature. Another Chainer's Edict. So I've got. I think I'm actually going to pick up one of my. Untapped lands, so I can cast. I can flashback a Chainer's Edict next turn if I want to. I'm not too concerned with the 1 life from Bloodfell Caves. So one unfortunate thing about this current matchup is that my opponent in the next games is going to have some Gleeful Sabotages. So that's going to be a little unfortunate for me. I'm going to have to deal with that. My opponent should probably not be running out all these creatures every turn. So, like, I have a 7 mana Edict effect. My opponent could probably play like a bunch of creatures in a row on one turn if they just waited. So they probably shouldn't be playing out all of the creatures right now. I only have Edicts for now, so I am going to keep flashing them back and stuff. I'm not going to use this Innocent Blood in my hand. And really, there's nothing I can do about a Sylvan Ranger anyway, so I'm going to have to Edict it away at some point no matter what. Alright, that's a pretty decent draw. So F6 here. So it looks like we might be, we're going to be in pretty good shape to win this game. There's another Electrickery. So I will actually just wait at this point. Also, I'm winning this race by quite a bit. I don't really want to show my opponent that I have 2 main deck Electrickeries if I don't have to, but I will show them right now. I'm just going to take the 1, and then I'll Electrickery end of turn. Okay, Timberwatch Elf. So it looks like they were sandbagging a little bit. My opponent's probably a little salty. I would be a little salty if I were my opponent. And I played against like the double main deck Electrickery deck. Just all removal deck. Alright, well, I'm out of Chainer's Edicts in my graveyard, so I might as well play the one from my hand. No real reason to let my opponent keep any of these creatures. So if I draw a Lightning Bolt, they're dead next turn. So what I was talking about before, though, in the sideboard, my opponent's going to have some number of Gleeful Sabotage, and all of our win conditions lose to Gleeful Sabotage, or they all die to it. So I have to be really careful about having multiple stuff out at one time. I agree, opponent. I don't blame my opponent if he's salty. I would probably be pretty salty if I played against my deck right now. Alright, so this is lethal here. We'll just Firebolt with Flashback. Finish him off. Upkeep the curse. We did it. We won the first game. Sweet. Alright, so we actually have nothing for this matchup at all. I'm not bringing in any of these cards. I don't think I want Thorn. It seems pretty bad. The only thing is, my opponent's... maybe I do want the Thorns. It's tough. I really don't want my opponent to be able to take the Monarch from me, but I also don't want to rely too much on this stuff that gets Gleeful Sabotaged. All of our really important cards die to Gleeful Sabotage. So I think I actually am going to bring in the Thorns as another win condition. I'm going to take out 2 curses, I think, and a Goblet. Yeah. So our opponent doesn't have any removal, so I don't think we need to worry. Actually, the only removal they have is for our win condition stuff. So I think I'm going to go like this. I don't think I want Duress, even though it can be pretty strong against them. I don't think I want Pyroblast. So let's just go with this. Okay, so this hand is a couple lands short. If I had like 2, if any card in this hand were replaced with a land, I would probably keep this, but I think I have to mulligan this one. This hand is okay. I'm a little short on removal for sure. Definitely don't want another land. So I could really use an Evenkar's Justice with this hand. Alright, let's lead out with the Mountain, make my opponent think I might have a Bolt. Terminate's actually really good. Let's see if my opponent, see what my opponent has here. Terminate means I can actually kill a Timberwatch Elf that they play this turn. Yep. So it's one of the most important cards of their deck, so it's nice to get it off the table. Gonna get it off the table right now. My opponent could have saved it with a Vines of the Vastwood if they had one, but looks like they didn't. See if they have some sort of Electrickery protection. Haven't seen any Spider Silk armors yet. Man, my opponent is just not respecting Electrickery at all, so hopefully I draw one. Nope, drew a pretty bad one. I'm not going to bother casting the Chainer's Edict. I'm going to play my Curse and pick up a land. Chainer's Edicting away an Elvish Visionary is just not worth it. I'd rather try to wait one more turn and see if I can draw a sweeper of some kind. Okay, Well-Wisher. So my opponent obviously doesn't care about our Curse at all. And now my Electrickery might not work. Okay, Terminate. Not particularly impressive. So the big problem I'm having here now, though, is I'm really opened myself up a lot to a Gleeful Sabotage. Now I'm getting 2-for-1 with it. Okay, Nettle Sentinel. My opponent's gaining 1 billion life. So if I draw any of my sweepers, we'll probably win this game. If I don't, probably gonna lose. The Well-Wisher actually isn't that important of a card here. Like, I'll grind this opponent out eventually. If I draw any sweepers, I'll just grind them out. Okay, let's cycle that. Not a sweeper. I'm really open now to Gleeful Sabotage. I'm especially open to it. I don't think I want to edict any of this stuff away. I might terminate the Nettle Sentinel. Simply because, yeah, I might terminate the Nettle Sentinel. I don't think my opponent has any more. I don't think my opponent has any more Elves, otherwise they probably would have cast one before using the Well-Wisher. Okay. I could have terminated the Nettle Sentinel there, and I probably should have. Let's just terminate this. See if they have Vines of the Vastwood. That's not a typical card for this deck, but you never know. Alright. What do we got? Firebolt, not great, but I am going to start picking some of these things off. So let's go for the Well-Wisher first. I think my opponent will save this. Ooh, that's actually really annoying because now my Firebolt... Well, my Firebolt can still kill the Well-Wisher, but it can't kill anything else. Which obviously isn't great. But I am going to kill the Well-Wisher. The one I really wanted to kill was the Birchlow Rangers. But I saw the Wirewood Pride in the first game, and I figured they had a pump spell. So what I wanted to have happen was I would use up their pump spell on the Well-Wisher, and then I'd be able to kill the Birchlow Rangers. The reason I want to kill the Birchlow Rangers is it's their only source of blue right now. I'm still not using this Chainer's Edict. I am getting to the point where I have to use it or I'm going to die. And I do save myself a couple turns just by killing one thing, so let's just Edict one of these away. It's possible I should have done that like a lot of turns ago. I would have saved myself like 5 life at this point. But, alright, we've got a face down Birchlow Rangers it looks like. So really need to hit an Electrickery or a Evan-Car Justice. Evan-Car Justice will probably lock up the game for us, I would guess. Alright, I'll cycle that. Innocent Blood is not great. I don't have to Edict here, but I think I will. Well, let's see. So I'm going to take 6 here. No, so if I only take 5 instead, I'll be able to Innocent Blood next turn and stay alive. Yeah, I should probably do it. It's not great. So my opponent knows they don't have to play around Electrickery at this point. So I take 5 here. And then if they don't play anything, I can play this Innocent Blood and get myself back up so I can live one more turn. Yeah, it's definitely not great. Didn't draw any of our sweepers. We do only have 4. I haven't drawn a single card draw spell in either game yet, and we do have 8 of them, or 6 of them. 6 of them in the deck. Didn't draw a Thorn either. Thorn wouldn't have been amazing, but would have been okay. Obviously, our curses and stuff would have been terrible. So I have to draw Evan-Card Justice now in order to live, I believe. And I have to draw it just like straight up. I have to just straight up draw the Evan-Card Justice. I can't draw... Yeah, I can't draw anything different. So I go to exactly dead. So just concede this game and move on to the next one. I don't think I want Siphon Life. Didn't see anything that really made me want to play Duress. Really, the game's all about Evan-Card Justice, and nothing else really matters. I haven't even seen any blue spells, but they did have an island, so I know for sure they have Distant Melody in their deck if I want to use Duress or Pyroblast. I'm just debating if I want to leave these in at all, because this is really like a creature removal matchup. I think I'll just stick with the list I just played. Let's see if I can actually draw some card draw. Yes, I would like to play first. This hand seems fine. I've got a piece of targeted removal for whatever important creatures they play. Being on the play is a big deal against this deck, of course. Like being able to terminate their second turn play is a big deal, or their first turn play if I want. Nettle Sentinel isn't important, so I'm not gonna bother terminating that. Also, really haven't drawn very much 1-mana removal. I've drawn, what, 1 Lightning Bolt and 1 Firebolt? I guess I drew my Electrickeries in the first game, but not drawing particularly amazing, that's for sure. Alright, another Nettle Sentinel. Not afraid of Echoing Decay, but we aren't playing that anyway, so our opponent is fine there. Let's play this Edict. And I'm going to play the Barrenmoor. Doing it this way means next turn I can play a Pristine Talisman plus a Night's Whisper. Hopefully they miss their land one more turn. They aren't playing very many, so... opponent should have attacked first, obviously. Now they're going to miss out on either some mana or some attacking, one or the other. Alright. So, Bojuka Bog, not great. I'm going to play the Night's Whisper because I'd really like to find some kind of mass removal spell. Okay, there's the Evan-Card Justice. My opponent being so short on lands means it's really tough for them to hold up Rapid Vigor or anything like that. Well, he's just like an Elvish Vanguard, and then they play a bunch of 1-drops. I can play the Evan-Card Justice and terminate this Vanguard, so even if they play a lot of stuff out, I'll be able to kill everything. Yep. So let's see if they have another creature, or if it's just this. Fortunately, I can't buy back my Evan-Card Justice, but I think I'll be okay without doing that. Let's just cast that. And I guess I'll play the Bloodfell Caves. Pass the turn. So next turn I will have up Thorn plus Terminate, or I can just play Chainer's Edict. I think I'm just going to play... No, I want to get the Thorn out there. So let's go Thorn and Terminate, and I'll hold up a red mana. I don't really like terminating here, but it means my opponent is going to be really short on mana next turn. It's going to be really hard for them to come back. Like, I'm just going to be Chainer's Edicting stuff away every turn now. So we haven't quite locked this one up yet, but I don't expect my opponent to be able to come back, basically, no matter what they do. All right, we're getting in there. My opponent, unfortunately, only had creature mana, and they got blown up by my sweeper that they couldn't really do anything about. Let's go ahead and, I guess... Let's cycle first, see what we get. Let's cycle Innocent Blood. Not great when we have this Thorn dishing out the beats. I guess I'll Chainer's Edict. I guess I shouldn't do that because I might draw some instant speed stuff I want to use. Alright, we're dishing out the beatdowns. It's going to be really hard for us to lose this game. I've got a ton of removal at this point. Gaining a life every turn, drawing 2 cards every turn, Bajuka-bogging my opponent every turn. Looks like we're starting off with a win, so definitely better than the last deck. Sorry to Tides for the savage beating I received using his deck. Don't even really want to play Read the Bones. I've got enough cards right now. Got so many cards. It's getting to the point where it's a little crazy that my opponent hasn't drawn another land yet, but it is what it is. When you play a deck with like no lands in it, that sometimes happens to you. I don't really need any more lands. Let's put those both on the bottom. Pristine Talisman is a great draw. Got all 3 Bajuka Bogs out, so that's pretty crazy. I'm going to discard an Innocent Blood. I don't really want to get rid of my clock. Sure, an Elvish Visionary, not a problem. Probably just, I don't know. I could Chainer's Edict from my graveyard, but I actually like to use some of this removal from my hand instead. So I don't have to discard quite as much. Alright, here we go. We're attacking. I hate discarding, so I'm not playing my card draw spells or anything like that. Okay, getting pretty close to having lethal here. I've got a lot of burn spells. Let's Magma Spray that. Firebolt my opponent. Firebolt my opponent. Bolt my opponent. Firebolt. Yeah, looks like I've got lethal here. Exactly lethal. We did it. So this has got to be one of the better matchups for the deck, especially since we got those Electrickeries main deck. So I feel kind of bad. I made my opponent wait a while, but it is what it is. I was having technical difficulties with the recording. So off to a 1-0 start. Let's see how we do for the rest of the league.